the ego always tries to keep you separate and different from others. Sometimes it does it by seeing another person as somewhat better than you, and sometimes as worse than you, but never equal to you. And this is what makes you feel disconnected from others, lonely or unhappy. Even now, as you're listening to me, the ego is busy judging. So one ego will decide that I might be holding important knowledge and therefore will put me above itself, whilst another ego may judge maybe my accent, my appearance, or the knowledge. It might compare the knowledge I hold to what it has, and it might judge it not good enough, and therefore it would put me below itself. And actually knowing this, when you really understand this, you are no longer upset if anyone judges you negatively, and you're not happy just because someone judges you positively. You understand this mechanism. So this is the purpose of the judgments that egos always make, to separate yourself from other beings, because ego was born from separation. This happens so quickly and so subtly that unless you are on a spiritual path, you will just miss it. The judgments will happen automatically. Classification of people will happen automatically. You will put them either above yourself or below yourself. So this constant judgment and labeling of the ego makes you feel separated and alienated from others. And so it's not that others are at fault or some kind of external force keeps you unhappy, but it's actually the operation of the ego within you that does this. Some of my clients suffered from this self-imposed disability in quite a high degree. Some perceive the world to be insensitive, cold, and cruel, yet they themselves would be busy judging others, even without ever talking to them. So when you're busy seeing the differences of others and judging others, you're perceiving them through the ego eyes, and this will never make you happy. It will just make you feel different from others and therefore separate. And because this is not true, we are all connected, you start living in an illusion of separation, and this creates unhappiness and the feeling of loneliness. There are many people who perceive these days the world as uncaring and other people as not worth the time to engage with. But all is done from within, and the world is a mirror just showing, reflecting to you what you need to work on. Also, like I said in another video, maybe the one that I posted before this, if you reject others, you're rejecting unhealed parts of yourself. Instead, try to approach others through spirit rather than the ego, because the spirit is the common ground of us all. So our root is there, which is the root of unity, love, and creativity. See others as brothers and sisters in spirit. We are all on this earth to learn lessons. If you judge others as undeveloped, for example, were you always aware and developed? Maybe just 5 years ago you were quite immature. So try to work on your own stuff rather than being busy looking at the negative qualities of others. And what will happen is that if you relate to others in this beautiful way of seeing the unity of all, you will bring out in them the qualities of the spirit, which is love, caring, connection. They will show you the best side of them, and you are helping in this way for that beautiful side of them to grow. It's like even some of the worst criminals are loving towards pets That's because pets don't judge them. They have that original connection with the source that they always feel. So it's so beautiful to relate with pets that even the most negative people show their best sides, and pets are able to bring out their loving sides. So that's how we should be. So pure as pets, non-judgmental, interacting with others through this beautiful source of being rather than the judgmental ego. And the ego might think that if you would interact with people in such a way, you will get hurt. This is a common ego concern. But this is not the case, because if you're plugged into the source whilst interacting with others, you are plugged into the universal intelligence. Of course, it will protect you better than any ego could. And it will make you interact with people that you should be interacting with. Maybe there are lessons for you to learn, or maybe that person has some kind of message for you, or you have a message for that person. So interaction through the source will result in many meaningful encounters with others, whilst you will be protected from circumstances and people that you're not supposed to be exposed to because they might be harmful. You will just not get to interact with such people if you are plugged into your source. If you want to learn this new way of being, the operation from your spirit and not the ego, I invite you to my spiritual support group. We meet every Sunday on Zoom at 4:30 p.m. GMT. This group is only for those who are serious about transforming their lives from the ego-based way of being to the spirit way of being. So by interacting with the group and doing the practices, you are learning to operate through your spirit, through presence. And this will gradually result in you changing from operating from the ego to the spirit-based life. And then what will happen is that you will shift from being a predictable ego personality to uncovering your true being, a being of love and beauty and connection. And it will be so easy for you then to interact with others. You will effortlessly attract the right people and the right circumstances into your life, because the spirit will do the work for you, the work of attraction, rather than operating from the ego and using a lot of effort to get stuff that you get and then you feel empty again. So this is a new way of being that we are learning to embody in our spiritual support group meetings. So in this video, I just touched on a small aspect of how to operate from the spirit. There's a lot more to learn, and most importantly, to embody. That's why we're doing spiritual practices within the group, and not only me teaching about these principles. So if you're really serious about transforming your life and uncovering your true being, I invite you to join my spiritual support group and to be an active participant in it, so that the profound transformation comes quickly and there's no longer unnecessary struggle in your life, but you attract the right people and the right circumstances and the right opportunities just because of your pure vibration of your true being. You can read more about the spiritual support group by clicking the link below this video.